All right. There we go. So for those of you who know me, you know I like numbers. And as I was sitting writing today's date, because everything I do is not one of those things where I look into the spiritual energy right on the spot. Sometimes I just intuitively pick a date, and today was one of those. When setting up this event, it was one of those habits. I just looked at the date, like we're going to do it on the 27th. It's a nine energy. Nine is about completions. Nine is about your transformation. Nine is about clearing things away, decluttering, because the less junk we have around us, and when I use the word junk, I say it in a loving way, so I hope no one gets insulted by the junk that's around them. And if you saw my kitchen table right now, talk about junk. Wow. Every corner of my kitchen table has something on it, papers, boxes, notes. Oh, yeah. Talk about declutter. Whew. Anyway, so when we talk about this energy for today, I'd like to invite you to write the numbers down 10/27, 2024. And what we're going to do is we're going to take that 27 and translate it to 9 because 2 and 7 is 9. And then we're going to take 2024 and translate that to 8. Isn't that a beautiful number? 10, 9, 8. A beautiful message from spirit that everything is literally in perfect order for today. Even with that little hiccup that we had before, there was a reason why that showed up. It was my mother's message because just as I was getting ready to come on the first time around at exactly 10:24, I looked at the clock, and that's my mother's birthday. And her birthday just passed. So she was reminding me she was here with me, and she was also reminding me to be on my toes because there may be hiccups that take place. And rather than getting nervous and worried and overwhelmed, which isn't going to help me think and be productive and act quickly on my feet, she reminded me to do just that. So when something happens like that, I won't go into my old ways of getting anxious, overwhelmed, and thinking, oh shit, I'm not good enough for this. I shouldn't have done this. And those thoughts did not go through my mind at all. It was really quick thinking. So thanking my mom for that energy for today and the overall energy of just knowing 10, 9, 8, everything is in perfect order. The speakers that will be coming in today will be sharing some amazing energy with us. And the overall energy when we think about the overall, because again, I say the numbers, but you think my brain would register the other numbers? No. So the overall energy for today brings us right back to that nine vibration. So again, when we think about the number nine, it is really about the transformation that we're experiencing, how we're completing a cycle, and we are really completing a cycle in 2024. After all, and I'm not going to get too much into astrology because that's going to be Kitty's job today. So I just want to leave it that we are completing a huge cycle. We are in the midst of transforming who you really were yesterday is not who you are today. You are a different version of yourself, whether you are consciously aware of it or not. And that's the beauty of this work that we're here doing, is that we're transforming literally as we sleep at night. We're all getting uploads, we're all getting insight, we're all getting this magic that just shows up within us. So use this energy today, all day, to embrace the very transformation you're experiencing in today's energy. As we are in Scorpio season, and one of my favorite seasons, believe it or not, I've always said that in my next life, I want to come back as a scorpion. And the reason why I like to come back as a scorpion is because most of the scorpions that I know, they are strong minded, they are thick skinned, they are powerful, they are witty, and you can never beat a fight with them. They're in a debate with you, you might as well just let it go because what they say is true, even if it's not. And that's what I want to be when I come back in my next life, that scorpion rising sign. So I can hold my own and know that everything I say is right, even if it's not. So to all those people, all of you out there who are celebrating a Scorpion birthday, I know I have two of you here with me today, and I know there's a few watching live. So happy birthday to all of you. And we're just about at the hour where I'm going to be turning the mic over to our first speaker of the day. And before I do that, I'm going to do drum roll, please. We should have a drum, right? Don't we need to add that into this process. I'm going to introduce the next speaker, and Does anybody, before I introduce the next speaker, does anybody know a Rosa and Rosemary? Just raise your hand if you do, because I have a Rosa and Rosemary wanting to join the room. Now, I don't know if they have the new Zoom or not, and if not, well, unfortunately, I'm not gonna be able to give it to them. And I don't recall who they are. So anyway, I'm just going to look for my bios. So I'm going to be reading and introducing you to our first speaker of the day, Sandra Pelley. She is a spiritual entrepreneur and an author of a spiritual how-to. She helps spiritual women who are doing the inner work connect more deeply with their inner child, the protector, to unleash their inner dragon, the action taker, so they can create the life they wish they had. Jasper National Park was where Sandra was born and raised in Alberta, Canada. She loves all things nature and Mother Earth. Sandra's personal mission is to live life, and she's living life. Be kind and help others discover how they live from their heart. Her divine vision is to help 1 million, hear that, people? 1 million women empower themselves. From a whisper to a roar, Sandra leads women during the inner work with their inner child to their inner dragon, creating a pathway to their full potential. Her topic today, people, is all about roles of the inner child and inner dragon. I am going to bring Sandra on. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And how are you today?
Hello, everybody. I am very excited to be here. Yes.
I'm
Um,
super excited to have you here.
yeah. I just really want to take a moment to say thank you for the invitation to be a part of this. The underlying message of really helping people to see what their steps are to move forward in their own lives is an extremely powerful one and one that's very close to my heart, as you could tell from the bio.
Yes, yes, yes. And Sandra and I only met, what was it, last year we met? How long ago
Yeah,
did
I
we
believe it
meet?
was probably about a year and a half ago. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So we, it's a really quick introduction. She and I have done a little work together in the last couple of months, and here we are today. So I'm going to dive right in because I know in those of you who are watching from the live and those of you in our group right now are curious to know all about Sandra's topic. So my first question for you, Sandra, who has an inner dragon?
Everybody has an inner dragon. I just want to take one more moment. It's it it's really interesting how my throat chakra is really acting up right now. So there's definitely something going on around this cosmic evolution summit. And I just want to mention, first of all, everybody first of all, write down my name, Sandra Pelley. Write down the incredible you, and write down from a whisper to a roar. And I'll put those into the group, the Facebook group after. In essence, I do see the incredible you. I see the incredible you in every single one of you. And I think that's what's really important to understand is that if you can't see how incredible you are, there are people like myself and others who definitely can see your incredible you. Okay. Also, I'm very much about having that inner child really connect with the inner dragon and come from a whisper to a roar. And that whisper, from a whisper to is all lowercase, but roar is capitalized. Okay, you guys? So everybody has an inner dragon, every single one of us. And it's that piece of us. I'm probably jumping ahead. I gave her a list of questions, but I'm just going to flow with this.
It's
The
okay.
inner
It's
dragon,
you got the floor. Go for it. I'll be here
beautiful.
just shaking my head, and if I want to dive in and ask a question, I'm going to.
Sounds good. So the inner dragon is that part of you that has been actually helping you in different cases. You may have moments where you're like, "Holy cow, I can't believe I did that." And notice the sound of my voice, that it's an exciting sound of your voice, not a, "Oh my God, I did that" kind of thing, right? That's your inner dragon. When you're excited about something that you've created or done, that's your inner dragon that's actually really taking your inner child in hand and moved forward with you. I'm going to take a breath and let you ask a question.
There you go. There you go. And I think theoretically you just mentioned what is the inner dragon. So we can jump over that one and go with the next question. When can you use your inner dragon?
What's beautiful about the inner dragon is, first of all, I think there's some background that really needs to come into place first here, Joanne. Uh, Really, a lot of people are familiar with dragon energy. And we could say that this is exactly like that, except that it's not. The inner child is a very intimate guide of ourselves, and so is this inner dragon. It's something that's very personal and very intimate to each of ourselves. In fact, I know for the last 2 days, knowing that I'm coming into this beautiful summit, that I've been really tapping into the energy of my inner dragon. And my inner dragon, I can actually feel it come up from the soles of my feet, up through my interior, up through my chakras, and it's this beautiful swirling energy, and mine happens to be a blue water inner dragon. And I'm going to tell you about my beautiful thing that I want to share with you guys in a bit here about the inner dragon archetypes, which is really, really important as well. Basically, that inner dragon piece is the action taker. The inner child is the protector. The inner child has, from birth, even preconception, to 7 or 8 years of age, it has really learned how to protect itself. And as an adult, you may have found yourself saying things like, "Why did I do that? Why did I say that?" And that's that inner child that's really been protecting you. As you do the inner work, I've done a lot of inner work, so I'm really conscious of how much inner work can be done around expectations and limiting beliefs. And when you're doing that inner work and you're moving along, and now you've reached this point of, man, I actually like myself again. I actually like what's going on around the world. I'm in this new state of awareness. I'm seeing angel numbers. I'm seeing all of these beautiful things, just like Joanne mentioned about her mom, 1024, right? I know that for myself, I'm born on 0808. Kitty's a member of this, and she's an 1111 portal baby. So there's so many powerful numbers out there. And we can really start to recognize that that's something that our inner dragon energy, the action taker, really helps us to witness and move forward with. So when you said the question, which I can't remember what it was exactly.
When can you use your inner dragon?
When can you use your inner dragon? Yes, it's in those moments when you are recognizing that you think you might feel anxious about something. And notice I said you think you feel anxious about something. If you take a moment and take a breath, choose instead to step into the excitement or into living your life rather than being anxious about something. Because when you're anxious about something, all this other stuff comes up and you begin to shut yourself down. If instead you take that breath, and let's just all take a breath right now. Now feel how you are ready to step into something. I want to take this a step further. Is it okay to actually have them do a little process with me, Joanne?
Sure, definitely.
Okay, beautiful. So what I'd like you guys to do is, you've done this beautiful breath. I'm going to ask you as well. I'm going to breathe through my personal favorite mantra, the I am open mantra. So I am open. With no expectations, no limitations. I am creating my outcome. I invite you to step into the power of that and ask to connect with your inner dragon. Just take a moment and take another breath and ask to connect with your inner dragon. And it truly is as simple as saying, I'd like to connect with my inner dragon. Take a moment to witness that inner dragon energy. What does it feel like? What does it look like? I know I say these questions, and maybe you aren't as connected to the energy as what does it look like? What does it feel like? I'm not sure. Then take a moment to allow whatever thought wants to pop into your head. Okay. So it's as simple as when I take this breath and I connect with my inner dragon, what is the first thought that pops into my head? Mm. For myself, it was the word luxurious this time. How about yourself, Joanne? What word popped into your head?
I heard resilience.
Love that. Yeah, very, very powerful. So this is your first real possible connection with that inner dragon. Some of you I know have been working with inner dragon energy for some time now, but for some of you, this may be your very first experience. And the trick of this is really allowing something that you might have been told you shouldn't be doing. And that is so powerful, right? Many of us have been told as a child to quit play acting, to quit being a drama queen, oh, you're too imaginative, oh, you're just making it up. And that has really shut down some of our very, very personal abilities. And
Mhm.
when we allow those abilities to start to shine again, that it's okay to let our imagination be free. This is how our guidance really comes through in a very powerful and magical way. Yeah. Um, so I could go on and on and on about this inner dragon. So now the question again, I'm going to get third time, right? What was the
Well,
question
good.
again?
The question is, how can you use your inner dragon?
Beautiful. Thank you. So as I mentioned, it was a simple breath and connecting with your inner dragon so that you had the ability to step into something rather than being scared of something. Uh, what's really kind of magical about the inner dragon is that it is a very innate piece of ourselves. So like I mentioned before, the inner child is a protector, the inner dragon is the action taker. My free gift, and that will be put into the Facebook feed as well, is this beautiful quiz about inner dragon archetypes. And that actually leads you into this experience where you get to discover what type of archetype your inner dragon is. And it could be a healer or a guardian, it could be a seeker, a sage, and a couple other different types of inner dragon archetypes. And you'll recognize rather quickly that this actually is a very deep part of yourself. And when you know what your archetype is, then it's easier to step into those pieces and be in alignment with who you really are. For myself, the healer has come up for myself with this inner dragon energy. And I really step into the world to help. Obviously, if I'm going to help a million women empower themselves, there's a large percentage of a healer that's coming in with that. And when I say that, it doesn't mean that I'm going in and healing them. What it means is I'm facilitating, I'm helping them find the tools that they need to heal themselves. And that's what I mean by empowering themselves, right? Yeah.
Yes, I love, I love that. Yes. And just as Sandra stated, as we give ourselves the title healer, no healer heals anyone. We just open up the space for everyone to find their ability to heal themselves. And that's the greatest gift any healer can do for someone is hold space. So I love that your gift is really about helping myself and others tap into our inner dragon, because before I met you, and even for that matter, at your summit that you had recently, before I even knew about dragons, it was like, wow, I have an inner dragon in me. Who knew? Like I believe in fairies, running around. I have all these little I forget what these little guys are called. And now knowing there's an inner dragon that I can like literally connect with and play with and have help me, take me to where I have to go. Because when I think of dragons, I think of them with their beautiful wings. And well, now it's really the freedom of having unlimited access to wherever I want to go, because I don't just have to stay here with my feet on the ground. I can get on my dragon and say, hey, dragon, take me to see Sandra personally. I want to be right in front of her. And here I am. So yes, I'm loving that you're sharing your gifts. Next question I have for you.
Actually, just before you go to the next question, Joanne, I just really want to expand on this healer piece again too,
Sure.
because I think it's really important to realize that you may have heard about the ripple effect. You've heard about the butterfly spreading its wings and then it's
Yes.
felt across the world. When you heal yourself or begin to heal yourself, you are creating an incredible ripple. And I think everybody that's here on the panel for sure can all speak to this about how they helped themselves heal. Like I learned to love myself. I learned to witness myself in a new way. I learned to see myself. And in doing all those things, it changed the dynamics of all the relationships around me. And I think it's really important to put that to voice here today because of the topic of this entire Cosmic Evolution Summit is about changing the world, really.
Yeah.
And we do it one person at a time. And your ripple that you are creating by healing yourself is massive. My relationship with my husband, with my friends, has all changed and evolved in really beautiful, magical ways because of what I've done for myself healing.
Yes. Yeah. Well, that is really the key to when one does their own healing is how we're changing. And then the relationships we have with others, we see that relationship differently. So the
Yes.
relationships change. It's not as though necessarily the other person has changed. They may very well be the very person they are. It's just that our view of them has changed. And then it makes the relationship so much lighter, easier, graceful, peaceful, and compassionate shows up in those relationships.
And we have now given them the room to be themselves, right?
Yes, yes. So my next question for Sandra is, where can you call upon your inner dragon? Where can
I
you
love this
call
question.
upon your inner dragon?
Pretty well anywhere. I do truly mean that. I've, you know, it's interesting how I'm stumbling over my words right now. And it's because there's so many things that have been going on in my life of late. And some of them not so fun. And some of them have been really quite magical and beautiful. And in all of those instances, um, there are times when I've remembered in the moment to call upon my inner dragon. And there are times when I've been like hours or days later and I'm like, oh, I should have actually asked my inner dragon for some help there. Well, you can still do it then as well. So I just really want to make that very clear that you can always call upon your inner dragon when you remember to, for sure. Okay. And also, too, it's very powerful when you're able to do it in the moment. And it can also be like I go for walks around my block. I'm one of my goals on a daily basis is 7,500 steps a day. And I will connect in with that inner dragon as I'm walking around the block. And when I do, I tend to see the world a little bit differently when I do that. Right? I start to see the magic. I'll maybe see, you know, I've actually seen a dragon in a broken up leaf on the ground. I've seen dragons on in the clouds. I think we've all possibly seen dragons in the clouds, but to see a dragon that's literally a broken up leaf on the ground, it's quite comical. So um, that's the power of connection, though. And I think that I love that I'm the first guest speaker because really that's what I speak about is that connection. And that connection starts with connecting with yourself and all those pieces of yourself so that you can see how connected you truly are to everything else in the world. For instance, I'll pick up a book and it's just absolutely amazing what I'm reading in the book and what's actually happening in my life at the same time. Like the character or some spiritual aspect of this, and it's been going on now for years. It's really, really quite wild.
Yes, I love that. Yeah. And again, when we think of the energy, when we think of the magic that we do have, and I love the word magic. I use it a lot for many different things, and we are magical beings. And when we turn our attention over to the fact that we are magical beings and the magic within us and the different things that we do have to tap into, to tap into that magic. I mean, yes, it's going to show up in our real world because we believe it to be true. And I believe the highest level of frequency to showing up is believing that it's true. And boom, 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 just like so, it happens. So yes, I'm loving that. My next question for you, Sandra, is why would someone call on their inner dragon?
I love this question. Curiosity, I think, would be the first thing. Curiosity. Second, and probably even more important, is to feel supported, to feel very, very supported. Let's see. You know, I'm more about the practical experiences. So again, what is the question? And you guys, thank you so much for your patience. And maybe I should give a little bit of background to what's going on here. I'm literally have just, and forgive me if I get emotional over this. I've just spent a week bedside with a family member, watching them pass away, and my mind has been fairly sidetracked, and that inner dragon energy is what has pulled me through this. It is what has stepped up and really helped me to stay together. And now I'm like day 3, and I feel like I'm starting to fall apart. So this is a really good time to call on that inner dragon energy.
Yes. And all the little noise behind us is, again, not to interrupt Sandra's conversation. For those who are watching live or those who were expected to be here with us in the Zoom room, we had to change the Zoom link. And we're not sharing it on the Facebook Live at this point due to the fact that we had to change it. So if you were expecting to be here with us in the Zoom room and you can't get into the link you have, it's because it's been changed. Please reach out to the person who gave you the link for them to give you the new link in order for you to come on to the Zoom room. I myself am not able to do that right now because I'm not able to multitask at this point. So please reach out to your other guest speakers to get that link so you can come on in. And it will not be shared on the Facebook Live because that would defeat the purpose of having a new Zoom link. We want to make sure this is a fun event without any unexpected intrusions that were not very pleasant. My inner dragon, I had to call on my inner dragon and didn't even know I was calling on my inner dragon at the moment. So thank you, Sandra, for sharing. And yes, thank you, Sandra, for being transparent in regards to your experience that you literally just went through, real life stuff for that matter, and that you are here and you're doing beautifully. So there's no reason to think you're not. You're doing beautifully.
Thank
Your
you.
words of wisdom are definitely showing up, and I believe it's a matter of grace right now for you and allowing yourself that space because you are doing beautifully. And sometimes life experiences show up at the most strangest times, and they show up at the most strangest times because it gives us a moment to slow ourselves down so we can be more in the moment of whatever is really supposed to show up. So I commend you, A, for being here,
Thank you.
and I thank you for being here. And, if I have to repeat the question 5, 6 times, it's okay. I repeat the question 5 or 6 times. It's all good.
Uh,
I would
I,
be
I
the
want to
same way.
I want to speak to this, and thank you too, because in my putting this to voice and you saying all the things that you said, I'm able to bear witness to this even more deeply and explain it a little bit more deeply. Joanne's inner dragon did step up. There was things that happened, and her inner dragon basically stepped up and got not necessarily got control, but took action, right? And even in her speaking about some other behind the scenes things that are going on right now, her inner dragon is helping her to stay, not stay. It may sound funny when I say stay focused, but it is because she could go off on an anxiety-ridden track and get completely flustered. Instead, she was able to maintain focus and follow through it on giving direction and explanations, and then helping us to move forward on each of this as well. So that's very, very powerful. And the other thing is too with myself, What you said there, Joanne, was very, very powerful because you said, sometimes things happen where we have to stop and deal with whatever it is, just like you had done. Mine happened to be a week-long stop. And that in that week-long stop, it's amazing what's unfolded since that week has kind of come to an end and what I've been able to kind of put into place. And that's again that action taker, that inner dragon action taker, really stepping up and helping me to go, okay, you've had this break now, and I'm going to fill your head with 100 million things tonight. So you can either stay awake all night in bed, or you can roll over and pick up a pen and paper or your phone and take some notes. I did. I rolled over and I picked up my phone and I took notes. And I took notes for two different fields of things that I'm in. And it was really quite interesting because when that stuff was able to be put onto paper or into my phone, then it actually cleared out of my head instead of me being stuck in that cycle, in that rut. And that's what that action taker is. Like you're being given these cues, step into accepting them and moving with them. There's a reason why they're popping up for you, okay?
Yes. And one of the beautiful things about this here right now, this recording, this live, and being able to pin the person who's speaking versus both parties being seen, is that behind the scenes, well, now you're seeing me, behind the scenes, I literally have tears that are strolling down my eyeballs due to the experience that took place, which is the reason why we needed a new Zoom link where it's this energy, but as opposed to that sensitive being that I am showing up, my inner dragon, as Sandra's speaking on, and I always refer to my mom as well. And who knows, maybe she's driving my inner dragon. Who the heck knows? Where I was able to show up with the leadership role of like, okay, do I sit here and just allow whatever's going on, that craziness that took place, and do I take offense to it? Do I get hurt feelings? What do I do? Do I just shut down the whole thing and say I can't do this? Or do I stand in my leadership role and say, you know what? Yeah, as much as the person that was on the other side of that kept saying I couldn't mute them, I'm like, yeah, I might not be able to mute you, but guess what? I can get rid of you because there's no one in my way. There's no one that's gonna step in my way and prevent me from being me and shining my light and then holding the space for others to do the same. So I'm gonna put it out there to anyone watching on Facebook. Don't try to get in my way, people. It's not happening because my leadership role stands up and I have a mission to accomplish today. I have space to hold for 6 amazing, brilliant women. And there's not going to be one person that's going to get up there and get in my way. So kudos to those who gave it a try, but I'm better than that. So thank you, Sandra, for allowing me to hold that space and recognize that yes, my mother is driving my inner dragon right now. She's literally she's the driver, and I'm sitting right behind her, and she's pushing me through, holding my hand, saying, "You could do this. There's no reason to shrink yourself and get nervous and show up in another way. Show up in your power." So Sandra, thank you, so thank you. This is more emotional than I expected it to be, ladies. And this is only the first friggin' speaker. Please, ladies, can you make this a little lighter for the rest of my day? Because I don't know. Tears strolling out the eyeballs. Anyway, let's move on to Sandra's next question as we have so much play to do today. Now that we know how to call on our inner dragon, how would one, let's see, how do I say this? How could this change your life? Playing with your inner dragon, how can it change your life?
Wow. You know, this is one of those really, really unique, interesting situations, and it really goes to each of the individuals. For myself, that inner dragon energy really helps my galactic shaman come out in a way that is phenomenal. I mean, I can now witness things that are on different realms in a completely empowered way. And I'm going to use a couple different examples. And then there's my business persona. I have literally stepped into being a leader, co-leader in this very cool group that has a potential to really put me into different spotlights among business owner type of people. And when I talk about the business owner, it's that you're running your business and things are like you have this beautiful vision of what your business could be, right? And then you are like, okay, well, something isn't working, something isn't clicking, and it's probably because of those things that have happened to you as an inner child or as a child, and that you've done that work, but you don't know what to do with those next step. And when you start to call upon that inner dragon shows you how to connect in with the different things. And when I say shows you, I mean, it gives you the courage to pay attention to those small things, like the TV commercial that happens to come up and it says, breathe, just breathe. We have one of those in Alberta here for the Travel Alberta. It could be an email that suddenly drops into your field of awareness, and it's somebody that might have been trying to get in touch with you for some time now. And this time, though, you catch that email in a completely different way. It could be a ladybug and what that ladybug means. The 1024 for Joanne, that was a huge, huge one, right? There's a small white moth that might be very significant for other people, right? So it's the ideas that drop into your mind as a business owner, the ideas that drop into your mind as a spiritual person. It's starting to pay attention to those in a completely different way. Okay. So there is this one person I know who her realm of experience is absolutely phenomenal. And she comes into our groups and she speaks about these things. And for some of the people in the group, it may be above and beyond because it's things that are so out there. And when I say so out there, I mean they're to do with maybe the galactic realm, maybe they're to do with the Christ star, maybe they're to do with the different types of, for lack of a better term, aliens and how we have possibly evolved in that thing. All these things, right? Like there's just so many different bits and pieces, and where she is in that realm is absolutely fascinating because she's let herself go into there and she's willingly stepping into what resonates with me, what feels good for me. And I really want to clarify that. We can step into things that resonate with us, but they might not feel good. And if that's the case, then it's resonating with us for a different reason.
Yes.
Do we need to pay attention? Do we need to step into that if that is not feeling good? Like, what is it bringing up? I had somebody ask me about a trigger. So that's a really good, for instance, is when something's triggering you, right? Why is that triggering you? How do you move forward from that? What are you looking at to see? How are you looking inside yourself to see about that trigger, right? And that's how that inner dragon is pulling you out of that as well. So there's a lot of different dynamics involved with the inner dragon energy, and it's so individual. And that's why that offer that I have for you with the inner dragon archetype quiz is so powerful, because when you start to learn what that is, that's really, really interesting. If you follow through on that quiz and you actually sign up for the email, and you have the choice, you don't have to, but if you sign up for the email, it will also then lead you into the next quiz, which is your chakra dragonfly quiz. And that's your inner child. So you get to find out which chakra your inner child is in. And when you look at both of these, the archetype and the chakra, you have all of this incredible, powerful information about who you are. And then moving forward with that, how can you use that information to move you forward in a more powerful way? Like for myself with a healer, I'm not going to go necessarily into the logistical, scientific-y type of areas because of the healer I am. I'm also the yellow chakra, the solar plex chakra. So I'm about happiness. I'm about finding joy. And that's what I did. Like my track record of my life was me attempting to find joy in my life.
I love that. Oh, I love that. That is, if anybody can take anything away today, that I think would be the key, is to find the joy in your life, looking for the joy. And I say this to clients all the time in regards to whatever's going on in one's life. Wake up with the intention, set an intention for the day. What is your intention? And for most part, for my intention is I always ask my higher guides to bring people into my life that I can make a difference to, and for me to see joy in my day. Now, for those of you who know me on a regular basis, since moving into my new space, I do not get outside as much because I spend most of my time inside in my peace, in my heaven, in my joy. And when I'm asking to see joy, it's like, well, you're not outside. How do you expect to see joy? And then I'm like, oh, let's not have a limited mindset. I can see joy every time I jump on Facebook or Instagram or TikTok or just looking outside my house. I mean, the things that show up when you look out the window, the clouds, the sun, the night energy, there's joy. And when we can turn our vision over to joy, it is a magnificent and magical, there's that word again, where you do have the magic within you to just live in complete joy. We don't have to live in anything else. We can live in joy and wake up just joyful to life. And when we do that, just as Sandra's saying, we get to play in our inner dragon. We get to play in the energy that we came here to play in. We're not born to live in a space of misery and hardship and anger. We were really here on this earth to really go into a space of joy and being light about it. And when we do that, we're unstoppable at that point in time. So you've mentioned about your complimentary offer. Now, you have a paid offer as well, correct?
I do, and I'm going to give you a little bit of a preamble before I talk about the paid offer. When we're talking about the inner dragon, I've this has been something that's been fairly recent for myself. Like literally, probably in the last year, inner dragon has really come to the forefront and stepped up and asked to be witnessed. And in being witnessed, I went through a really comical series of events where I was literally put into a caregiver role for 6 weeks. And then on my drive home, my truck broke down and I was put into a hotel room for 2 nights, completely isolated. And I was like, okay, well, why is this happening for me? Okay. And basically, what I had to do was sit down and discover what inner dragon meant for humanity, is what I was asked to do. And so I had a beautiful interview with Inner Dragon. It's actually on my YouTube channel and it's under the Dragon Tales podcast. Sandra Pelley the Sandini is my YouTube. In that, there's a 7-part series there that I literally interview the inner dragon energy for humanity. And that has really been what's helped me to understand inner dragon in a different way. And also too, with recognizing the archetype of the inner dragon and the chakra dragonfly for the inner child, I've really recognized that there's 4 areas that are very important to work with. One is the emotions, the physical body, at which you'll relate to, Joanne, the spiritual aspect, as well as our self-identity. So those 4 aspects of our life is what I really like to dive a lot deeper into. And that paid offer, what I'm offering you is the opportunity to take part in the 4-call series, which literally covers that: the emotions, the physical body, the spiritual aspect, as well as the self-identity. And those calls actually start this week. So it's kind of one of those things that if you want in on it, I would suggest you hop in on it ASAP or catch the replay for the first one anyway. And they're roughly 2 weeks apart. So they start on, I believe it's October 31st is Thursday, and they go until the first week of December, second week of December. And we're diving a lot more deeply into how that inner dragon archetype and the chakra dragonfly, the inner child piece, really come together with each of those things. So in your emotions, so if you're someone like myself, like I'm empathic. I think we're all empathic, truly.
I would say so.
Yeah, when you recognize what type of empath you are, you can also recognize how your emotions are coming into play. Now, if you include now into there your inner dragon archetype and what chakra is involved, it's super powerful how you can learn how to cope with that, or how you can learn to use it to your spiritual advantage, I guess, if you will, or your emotional advantage, whatever the case is, right? And same with each of those other pieces. Like for the physical body, there's injuries possibly, or things that you're holding in your body. When you learn what your inner archetype is and that chakra that's involved, you can use that to help your body in a completely different way. And I can see the power of that for someone like yourself, Joan, with the exercise and how you have shifted your whole persona around exercise. You chose to go into a direction that really worked for you in a different way than you had before. And I think that you had a natural inkling with that inner dragon aspect coming up before you even realized that there was an inner dragon. So you can see where I'm going with this,
Yes, I
right?
would definitely say that to be true. Definitely. Yes, yes. And I love that Sandra brings that up because again, we may not realize half of the team, I'm going to use that word, team that we have, our spiritual team. And every one of us has a spiritual team. We all have angels we work with, we have fairies we work with, and now you can add to the fact that you have a dragon that you work with. Now, Sandra, does the average person have more than one dragon, or is there really just that one that we really stay tuned with, or do we have multiple?
Well, if you're talking about dragons, I've got mega dragons. I have one inner dragon personally. Does that mean that you can only have one inner dragon? I think that if you feel like you have two inner dragons, then I would trust that. Okay. I also want to mention too, there's something really kind of cool about the inner dragon because it has this very unique ability to be relatable in a different way. So I have this one beautiful person who's worked with me for the last just about a year, and the energy of her inner dragon, like she totally understood what inner dragon was, and she was moving through this beautiful awareness of understanding herself in a completely different way. Except that something about the words inner dragon wasn't connecting as powerfully as she would have liked. And she realized that it was mermaid energy. And so her inner dragon actually is more of a mermaid energy for her. I know that my inner dragon energy, it's become really clear to me just actually in recent weeks, like probably about a month ago, that my inner dragon energy is actually very relatable to otter, Otter, otter energy. So now I have this other piece that if I see otters, whether it's in a magazine, whether it's a card that's pulled, whether it's a commercial, whether it's outside, if I see an otter, I know it's my inner dragon going, "Hey, yo," at me, right? Yeah.
I love that. I love that. And I do want to put it out there for everyone who is watching. At this point, we're just about 20 to 12. And if you are looking to get into the Zoom room so you can get hands-on with Sandra and ask questions, this is the time to do so. Just again, reach out to any of the speakers that you may know to get the Zoom link. It will not be posted in the Facebook Live here. In addition, if you're not able to come into the Zoom room and you do have questions, put those questions down. They will not be answered here. However, when they will be answered is, for those of you who are not aware, this Saturday on November 2nd, we have a panel discussion that most of the speakers are going to be partaking in. And I'll pull all the questions from the Facebook Live, write them down, and at that point in time, those questions can be answered. You'll just have to stay tuned, come watch us live, or go back and watch the replay to see whatever question you ask has been answered. So there's lots of flexibility here and no pressure to whatever questions you may have going on. Kitty, did you raise your hand? Did you have a question?
Yeah, I just wanted to let people know there is some issue with the link in your phone and perhaps Facebook. So if you go from your computer, or if Rose let me know, Reverend Rose let me know that she forwarded it to her Instagram and then she was able to come on. So I don't know what it is. It was probably in the hurrying that something is happening with the mobile version of Facebook to click on it. So if you can open from your laptop or like she forwarded, and we'll see if we can figure that out. Because I had to, that's why I came on twice. I was testing it. So, and I'm excited for this conversation.
Yes, and I want to give a shout out to Kitty for being my backbone right now, so doing all the technical stuff behind, because again, even if I did not have that little hiccup earlier, I would not have been able to multitask all of what Kitty is multitasking behind the scenes. So it does take a village for this to actually take place. So I am learning through this. And I also want to give a shout out again to Sandra, who's done a summit before. I believe Sandra's summit has been more than a 1-day summit. So anyone who has actually presented a summit where you did the back end of it, wow, commends to you, because this is my first summit. I do have another one coming up. There's a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes and a lot of hats that we have to wear to make sure everything runs smoothly. So there is a lot that I am learning today. And I want to thank all of you, my speakers today, who trusted in me to bring this platform together to help you all share your wisdom and bring it out to whomever needs to hear it. So again, this is a team effort. This is not definitely about a I. This is definitely about a we. And it's so interesting because this is going to lead us right into our next speaker in a little while, all about astrology, the we aspects of things. So again, Kitty, thank you so much for being my backbone and doing all the technical stuff behind the scenes, because I see you going. I see you there. I see you. You're being seen. You're being seen. So thank you.
And I would like to thank the silly little boys that decided to bombard and show their, I don't know what little contest they were having. Spirit wins. If there was anything we saw this morning was all of us just went, you know what? We just have to regroup and step into it. Sandra, thank you for coming in the midst of that chaos. Thank you, Uranus, for stabilizing and helping us grow with change. And to those silly little boys, bless you, change me.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Yes, again. And these things do happen. And that's why we have our inner dragon, as Sandra's pointing out. These things do happen, that we don't have to fall to our knees and go into a state of panic and have our inner child show up like, oh my God, I can't do this. I'm not enough. I'm not smart enough. I can't make the decision, and go in a state of panic. So there was a lot that showed up in that short period of time. And just complimenting the inner dragon for bringing it up. So thank you, Sandra. Sandra, do you have any final words before we actually do come off live and take the recording off and just play it in the Zoom room? Do you have any final words for us?
Again, I just want to mention it's Sandra Pelley, the incredible you. I see the incredible you. Even if you don't, I do. And I am very much a strong believer of the inner child being the protector, the inner dragon being the action taker, and taking that inner child from a whisper to a roar. And yeah, take it one step at a time, you guys. Heal thyself, because that ripple effect is absolutely remarkable and incredible what happens from there.
Excellent. And Sandra, if you can leave us with one word for today, what's that one word?
Well, I'm gonna use the one that my my inner dragon gave me this morning when we connected with the inner dragon energy. It said luxurious, and this cosmic evolution summit is all about stepping into that luxurious energy that we're so capable of flowing in.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Sandra, for being here, for shining your light bright enough for others who have a challenging time shining theirs so they can see. Because again, a big part of this we is for those who are fearful of shining their own light due to whatever the reasons are. And that with every one of us here, there's a handful of us here, 5 or 7 of us here. Every one of us are shining our light as bright as we can. So for those of you who are having a challenging time shining yours, you'll be able to find it, brighten it up a bit, and shine it out. So we're going to leave it there. We're going to be coming off the live on Facebook, and we will be coming back live again on Facebook at 12:30 with our next speaker. I'll go on a little sooner, of course, to get everything in order. We'll be using the same link we're on right now. So those of you who have the new link, keep it handy. And it's been a lot of fun. Let me see if I can transition us out of the live. Everyone cross their fingers. Do. All right, that I believe is almost off. Let's see. Boop, 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 boop. That's gonna die. Boop. And I'm also gonna turn off the recording for now.
There was no Q&A with that?
We're gonna